point, I would like to call on our Atlanta Filipino early settlers, Ms. Venus.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is a pleasure for me to be here together with my fellow panel and with all of you today to be a part of this Filipino-American History Symposium sponsored by Galing Foundation. I want to say two things about myself. I love to tell jokes, if no one will blurt my punchline. And I love fashion. Before I start talking about my early experience as in America as a Filipino nurse, Jenny, it's 5 minutes, okay? Let me tell you about the brief history of the Filipino nurses' migration in the United States. According to Global 101, Filipino nurses began arriving in the U.S. as early as the turn of the 20th century under the Pensionado Act of 1903, which funded American education for citizens of the Philippines in U.S., a colony at that time. The migration streams continued in the waves throughout the 20th century. During 1970, the U.S. and other industrial countries experienced nursing shortages as more work opportunities open to women, making nursing with its long hours and high stress a less appealing option. But well-educated and English-speaking Filipino nurses provided the perfect replacement workforce. Without increasing wages, U.S. hospitals were able to fill necessary but unwanted jobs with Filipino immigrants. The first Filipino mass nurses came to the United States takes place in 1960, which was under the auspices which what we call the Exchange Visitor Program that was created in 1948. Now let me just tell you about the U.S. labor statistics in 2018. Projects 1.1 million nurses are needed to avoid further shortage. By 2030, 7 states will have the following shortfalls of RN. California, about 44,000. Texas, New Jersey, South Carolina, Alaska, Georgia, 2,200. And South Dakota. So we Filipino nurses still have the future to come because of those shortfalls. Now let me tell you about myself. I became a nurse through the behest of my mother. Remember Joe Coy, the Filipino-American comedian? Yeah. He said, "You nurses, that was not your dreams. That was your mother's dream." So here I am. I graduated from UST. After my graduation, I went back to my Cagayan de Oro to work at Del Monte Pineapple at their dispensary and hospital. Then in 1973, I went back to Manila to pursue my master's degree. But I ended up with an interview with the management from Georgia Baptist Hospital who were there, who wanted to recruit 100 nurses. And luckily, I was one of the 100 nurses. With a salary of $8,800 annually. Wow. This is about $3 to $4 per hour, okay? And of course, I left Manila with Fly Now, Pay Later. And remember the chest X-ray film that was on our hand? Yes, we have to carry that, just to make sure we don't have any infections. And on the same day, on one of my hurdles when we entered to San Francisco, the 3 of us, for some reason, I was the spokesperson for the other 2 nurses. Our bladder was so full. So here I am asking anybody about the comfort room. So anybody said, no? So finally one gentleman who was kind enough to analyze what we want in the comfort room. And so he said, young lady, we call it restroom here. Thank goodness. So when we come to the restroom, we have to pay 10 cents. We don't have any 10 cents. So another American woman gave us a 10 cents. So I arrived the same day I arrived in Atlanta in February 1974. And my attire that time, remember my fashion? I had a midriff t-shirt, bell-bottom jeans, 6 inches high heel, and a sweater. Oh my God, it was so cold. I thought I would die. The reasons for Filipino nurses why we want to come to America could be personal, educational, or social. And as for me, any of the above. Coming to a new country, especially US, calls for a lot of adjustments. We have communication, pronunciation barrier, and like for example, and doctors, we have problems with doctors because we also have problems too, because we have a fear of not understanding us because of our accent. And for them also because of their Southern accent too. So that was really hard. It was really hard. And some doctors will ask for not other than Filipino nurses to give their orders. And that was the truth. But since I think I don't have any choice because I was the only one assigned in labor and delivery, so I have to answer the telephone. Because in another areas in that hospital, nurses are pushing each other to answer the phone. There's a fear because of that communication, that gap. And then the other one, we had to pass our board exams. Due to our shift assignment, the skeleton shift, which was 3 to 11, 11 to 7, it was very hard for us to study. We had only 3 chances to pass, and if not, you'll be terminated. Some, including myself, passed the board exams for the first time. Another is the cultural acclimation. You remember the she and the he?
Yeah.
That's our problem. So anyway, one doctor called me, Venus, what's the progress of my patient? And I told him, he is 6 centimeters now. And the doctor said, Wendy, I thought I have a female patient. And that is the truth. And then the other one, it is in the Philippines, it is disrespectful to look at someone in the eye when you're being reprimanded. And here is completely opposite. And then the finger pointing is a no-no here. Another problem is our transportation. Car is a necessity here. But we were blessed at that time that we're living the dorm that's next to the hospital. So all we have is to walk. But our life at that moment was just work and sleep. Until one guy, and he's here, Virgo Osias, he was kind enough to show us Atlanta and open his apartment to all of us who can fit in his car. We were all jam-packed, all about 10 or 12 of us. And that is the truth. Can you stand up, Virgo? I just want to acknowledge you. And also, the reason at that time, he was also eyeing in one of our nurses. His wife.
The effect on marriage.
And during Sunday, we walked to Sacred Heart. We walked. And that's about 2 miles from our hospital to the church. And from one Sunday, we met Vic Romero. And we found out that he was studying at Georgia Tech, and a very bright man. But once we knew how to ride a bus, there we were. We went to Kessler, we went to Woolworth, it's not anymore here now, and we buy things to send it home. The weather here in our country is wet and dry, but here we have 4 seasons to adjust. And another hurdles that we encountered is degree of jealousy within the workplace. When we came to Atlanta Medical Center, most of the unit are manned by licensed practical nurses. But since we arrived, then we have to take over. And so one of my coworkers itself told me to my face, and said the reason why my people don't have any jobs here because of y'all. I was aghast, but I told her, you know why? If your people studied nursing, we should not be here. family affairs, loneliness, homesickness. We spend so much money calling on the phone, and that is, you have to pay. So that's so much money. And then obligations to our family. We have to remit money for family needs, because that is us. Almost there, Miss Jane. But I have to tell the story because so they will understand our experience. All of the above, we the Filipino nurses, tackled above because of our perseverance, dependability, resourcefulness, resiliency, and caring. That's why we are here. I was gradually involved to the Filipino community through film, where Ed Villanueva, I myself, showcased our culture by dancing the famous tinikling for all the years all over Georgia at events, July 4th parade, Martin Luther parade, schools, and nursing homes. Channel 5 was so happy, was so probably mesmerized that they invited Ed and I to dance tinikling live. Now looking back, I can proudly say all those hurdles, adjustments, barriers were there for me and us Filipino nurses as a challenge for what I am today and were today. Thank you, and mabuhay tayo.